stood in front of the Supreme Court waiting for a decision day. From 10 to 11 o'clock, in a form of political theater, a small grouping of people came together saying we refuse to accept this draft decision and called on people to stop it. We waited day after day and then found out that there was another decision day, Friday. We didn't find out until Wednesday that decision day potentially was on a Friday. And on that decision day, I stood in front of the Supreme Court and waited and chanted a march with only a small grouping of people. But there was a lot of anti-abortionists there, and they knew that it was going to be the decision day. There was way more media there that had been in 2 weeks prior. And for Rise Up for Abortion Rights, whereas everyone has a right to feel whatever they felt when that decision came down, I asked myself this: do I want to stand in front of the Supreme Court crying in a corner? I spent my whole life with abortion being legal. I'm 45 years old. Or do I want to stand with my fist in the air, determined that legal abortion must be the law of the land?
Yeah.
And I stood there and I stood with my fist up and said, this decision must not stand. Legal abortion on demand. And I stood there with a green bandana. Nobody owns abortion rights and nobody owns the green bandana. The green bandana and the green wave movement came from Argentina. In Latin America particularly, but in Mexico and in Colombia, and particularly Argentina, they fought on the street. If you look up Argentina and legal abortion rights. Abortion legal was their statement. And they brought forward, I'm sure, thousands and millions of people who disagreed with each other, but agreed on one thing: that legal abortion on demand was the barometer. There was nothing less that we could demand for. This is what we demand for. And in the pictures, women are standing, thousands. I have been to many demonstrations my whole life, but never had I seen thousands of women in these pictures holding this green bandana. That is the goal, folks. The goal now is to bring forward millions of people into the streets and demand that the federal government, any government, Congress or Biden, restore legal abortion. Anything less is compromising for what is the barrage for the future, as we have learned. So for everyone that take up the green bandana, the sewing circles that people started from the mass, they need to start. People who crochet and put art on the street, the green needs to be every single place. It needs to be as visible as when you think of Ukraine and you see everything in the colors of the Ukraine flag. We need to create this movement, and it can actually happen. So I'm going to say this again. This decision must not stand.
This decision must not stand.
Legal abortion on demand.
Legal abortion on demand.
This decision must not stand.
This decision must not stand.
Legal abortion on demand.
Legal abortion on demand.
Rise Up for Abortion Rights has a meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock at Morning Glory Cafe at 10th and Fitzwater. We are calling for nationwide protest on July 4th. I urge you to join us. So that's again tomorrow. No, my God, tomorrow, this is Thursday. Saturday, Morning Glory Cafe at 5 o'clock. There's another thing I want to say. When I was 14 years old, 30 years to this day, I went to Buffalo, New York to protest Operation Rescue. I was 14 years old. I didn't go with my parents. I went with a bunch of activists. Operation Rescue is an anti-abortionist movement who used violence to block clinics. 30 years ago to this year, in April, they called for thousands of people to block clinics in Buffalo, New York. They chained themselves to fence, and I was a part of a grouping of people to defend those clinics with their bodies. 30 years ago to that time, I remember, Miriam, hold up that sign, abortion on demand and without apology. I remember the pro-choice movement telling me at 14 years old that this statement was too much. That we don't want abortion on demand. We want it to be rare. Because that was the 90s. And that's when Hillary Clinton said abortion should be rare. We fought for that stance. Abortion on demand and without apology. We also fought to actually acknowledge that the Christian fascist movement was on the rise and that they were trying to remake society. And we are fucking here today. My friend posted something, I didn't even see it because I was at the Supreme Court, but on her Instagram, my friend had told me this, that she had a picture of me and she said, since I've known this person, she was 10 years old, she has always worried that abortion was going to become illegal. And the reason why I worried is because I saw that the Christian fascist movement was hell-bent and not bringing our society back to 50 years ago, but bringing us back 200 years ago. And they have done the impossible. What people thought was impossible is bring forward a Christian fascist movement, which when I protested Donald Trump's inauguration, people said fascism cannot happen in the United States. They said, we are too big. This is not Nazi Germany. And I'm calling on everyone right now to open their eyes to the future that is very nigh. It is a fascist future. And the only pathway, there are many paths, so I don't want to just say one. But we fundamentally must figure out how to unite in a way that we've never united and call on people to get into the streets. That your common sense knowledge that voting is the only way to make change is problematic right now since we cannot vote out these justices. And fundamentally, conventional wisdom is telling everybody to go on that July 4th vacation, to pretend like COVID's over, and to not put your life on hold right now. And I'm gonna say to you is to look at the women in Argentina who fought in the street in a Catholic society and said abortion legal, abortion on demand and without apology. So join us in the street, rise up for abortion rights. My name is Kayuki. I'm willing to work with everyone and I unite with everyone.